Meghan McCain's husband has no balls and no bass in his voice. Hell, his wife got more bass in her voice than he got bass in his own voice, all right? He got no personality, nothing at all whatsoever. Do y'all remember when Meghan McCain was on Seth Meyers, and Seth Meyers was really, really cordial with her, and he's Jewish, and they were talking about Ilhan Omar with her comments about, all about the Benjamins and how she apologized, and it wasn't sitting well with Meghan McCain still, but yet you have a Jewish man telling her, hey, she apologized, it's okay, it's fine, let's move on. And then her husband just went off on him, okay? But here goes Donald Trump, the former president of the United States, calling Meghan McCain a bully and like low class and a bad Republican and stuff like that. And the same grift does not apply to Trump. Wait, because he's a Republican. I forgot. Let's talk about it. Hi, welcome to JOA. If you're new to my channel, I'd really appreciate it if you do subscribe and you do click that bell so you'll be the first to know when I upload. Please do subscribe. Please do click the bell so you'll be the first to know when I upload. I want to refresh your memory. Please share this with your friends and family as well. I want to refresh your memory of Meghan McCain being on Seth Meyers. And I want to just plug in a video that was part of the reason why her husband did that fake outrage on Twitter. See, her husband knows who to go after, okay? He know not to go after Donald Trump because, he would probably lose his dumb job on Fox News that got him there because of being linked to Meghan McCain, right? So watch this, and then I'm going to come back with some more, okay?
I want to ask about Ilhan Omar, Congresswoman from Minnesota. She was in a situation, you were very vocal about some of her tweets. People were upset, thought it was anti-Semitic language. She has since unequivocally apologized for them. And then after that, there was this tragic synagogue shooting in California, and you once again sort of, on a Sunday news show, brought up her tweets again in the context of that shooting.
On George Stephanopoulos.
On George Stephanopoulos, yeah. And I just wonder, because I do think it's fairly dangerous, and you brought it up after Congresswoman Omar had also had some death threats against her. Do you think, she's obviously now stated she needs to be more careful with her language. Don't you think other people who talk about her need to be a little bit more thoughtful as well? Or do you stand by those comments of tying her to her rhetoric to the synagogue shooting?
I don't think I tied her to it in particular. I think that I'm calling out what I see as anti-Semitic language, and when you're talking about
But even after, you called it out after she'd apologized for it. I do want to establish the timeline.
I think that Democrats are hedging on this, and I think it's very dangerous, and I think Chuck Schumer and I are in alignment about Israel's stance in geopolitical politics. I think it's of the utmost importance, and I think she is bringing her party to the extremism on this. And I think we have to look to Europe and what's happening over there, and that they're, in the British politics, anti-Semitism is very common. And I see it happening over there, and I worry about it happening over here. I stand by every single thing I've said. And if that makes me unpopular in this room or in front of you, so be it.
Well, I don't. See, that's a weird thing that you would take the position of trying to be unpopular. Here I am trying to, find the common ground on this, because I do think I think we could both agree.
Were you bothered by her language about 9/11?
I thought it was taken out of context, and I think if you watch that whole
Would you give President Trump the same leverage if he had said the same thing?
Well, I would say that Donald Trump is certainly in no position to criticize her language on 9/11 based on the things that he said about 9/11, right?
But would you I just think you have to give people the same credence, and I think
let me make the clarification between Donald Trump and Ilhan Omar is one of them has apologized and said they're going to try to do better, and they're going to be educated by people who know about this. That's what she said, and I think she... it's an interesting thing when we have two Muslim women for the first time. They do have a different perspective on things. And I think when we talk about the idea of, let's all try to meet in the middle on things, we have to listen to other people's perspective. And
I agree. I work on The View with Joy Behar every day. I listen to other perspectives all day long.
Is there a way for people to talk about differences in Israeli policy without getting framed as anti-Semitic language?
Yeah, I just think you can't talk about Jews hypnotizing the world, talking about all about the Benjamins.
You do keep bringing up the two tweets that she's apologized for, and I think that's a little unfair to her, especially because we've established...
Are you her publicist?
What?
Are you her press person?
No, I'm just someone who cares about the fact that there's someone out there who is in a minority, who has had death threats against her, and I think that we should all use the same language that you're asking her to be careful about her language, and I would ask everybody else to be careful about theirs.
Okay, all right. I mean, I'm not sure what What would make you happy coming out of my mouth right now? I'm genuinely curious.
I'm perfectly happy with everything that's coming out of
Okay.
my mouth, and I like that we spent this time together.
Okay, you seem a little. I mean, I think my opinions are very strong, and I think sometimes because
that is coming across. I do want you to know that.
But, well, I'm on a network show.
Yeah.
I'm on ABC, and I think sometimes when you're a hardcore conservative woman like I am, I think sometimes it's daunting. I'm not on Fox News anymore. I'm on ABC, and I think sometimes my beliefs, even though I do believe I represent the vast majority of people in red states, or at least a lot of women in the middle of the country who are pro-life, pro-NRA, strong foreign policy hawks, people who believe in limited and small government. I think that sometimes it tends to be jarring for people to see someone like me in mainstream news and not on Fox.
But I think it's good that you are in mainstream news. You do have a platform. I mean, I think there's this idea that maybe you're saying unpopular things, but certainly ABC thinks it's worth hearing. So, you have a platform, I have a platform. I think we're very lucky, and I think we have to...
Oh, yeah, I'm like so lucky. Yeah.
Well, we're in agreement on that as well. Vaccinate your kids. Meghan McCain, everybody, thank you so much for spending time with me. I really appreciate it.
By the way, this was May of 2019, so this was before the pandemic. Just want to emphasize that because at the end of the video, he did say vaccinate your kids. So this was before the Rona. Now let's get to Ben Domenech's comments. The man that really don't got no balls. Okay, let's talk about him. Found the Twitter post from the Daily Beast, which is Meghan McCain's former employer. Okay, so Ben Domenech says, I see that Seth Meyers, the untalented piece of SHIT, who only has his job because he regularly gargled Lorne Michaels' balls, went after my wife tonight with his idiotic anti-Semitic BS. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Scroll, scroll down. That's the interview. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Then he says, Seth is an awful person who is known within the industry for how terrible he is. He is a monumental a-hole who is utterly unfunny. He deserves the mockery he receives from all the people who laugh at him. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Then he says, here is proof that white men get ahead despite their obvious lack of talent. Okay, we can agree on that. It is Seth Meyers who would beg for a third of the viewers at The View. He is awful, untalented, and a perfect definition of a cook. Ooh. Then he says, but the best thing is how much all the people around Seth Meyers talk about what a shitty person he is. Because, it is sad, so terrible, but he deserves all of it. Let's see if there's any more comments. Then he goes, I love my wife. I apologize for rage tweeting and about how Seth Meyers treated her. I don't like him. I think he is a hack, but I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry to anyone I offended. Recall Trump sent a nasty letter about Meghan McCain, about her Audible book, Bad Republican. And so I'm going to read this, and I'm going to read a response that Ben Domenech gave, and it's pure hypocrisy and pure cook-like. He called Seth Meyers a cook. Well, he's a cook. Isn't it funny that Meghan McCain, who has always been a bully and basically a lowlife, is now complaining that it was she who was bullied by the slobs and radical left maniacs of The View? At the request of many of her representatives, I made it possible for her father to have the world's longest funeral designed and orchestrated by him, even though I was never, to put it mildly, a fan. In his own very special way, he was a rhino's rhino. Despite his fighting against me, I won Arizona by a lot in 2016 and won Arizona by even more in 2020. Unfortunately, the vote counters in 2020 were far more important than the candidates. See the determinative report issued Wednesday by the Arizona auditors. I have since found out that McCain, who was close to last in his class at Annapolis, sent a fake and totally discredited scam dossier to the FBI, hoping to stop the Trump train. In any event, Meghan should fight the communists instead of explaining how they beat her, hurt her, and made her physically ill. She should fight back against the losers of The View the way she fights against very good and well-meaning Republicans, and she would do herself a world of good. Now, this made me have even more respect for Seth Meyers, because here goes a Jewish man who just giving a minority woman, a minority black Muslim woman, the benefit of the doubt and saying, hey, she apologized. Let's not keep going with this rhetoric. We all know what Muslim people go through. We all know what Arab go through here in the United States of America. And the definition of a cuck is a very highly insult. It's just, it has more than one meaning. It could mean a person with weak progressive views. It could also mean that you are weak in a heterosexual relationship, that you are deemed submissive in a relationship comparable to your girlfriend or your wife, and your wife is the person that's in charge, and she may bring in a man in the bedroom that can fulfill her needs that you can't do, and you may have to fulfill that man needs as well, and that's a thing. Okay, you know how there's swingers where there's also relationships where the man is actually the submissive one, and they bring in another man to do the deed to the wife and do the deed to the man that's in a relationship, and the wife may force her husband or her whoever to get down with the side dude that's in the bedroom. So a cuck is a really derogatory word to use for somebody, and the cuck here is Ben Domenech, not Seth Meyers. Although I've heard things and I've saw things, the word on the street is, Anderson Cooper was on the show at one point. He said, Seth Meyers, you could be the first gay man on a mainstream talk show. So I don't know. I'm not saying nothing. He's married. And I saw Wendy Williams in him doing an interview, and he said some things that made me question as well. And Wendy looked at him weird as I was like, should I do a video on it? But I didn't. But he's married to a woman, and if maybe lay down on that's not my business. But I do appreciate him for respecting Ilhan Omar. I really do appreciate it. And he's Jewish. Meghan is not Jewish. Miss me with the anti-Semitic outrage. Miss me with that. Anyways, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you'll be the first to know when I upload. Deuces. Yeah.